during the flood disaster.
What's the health situation like at the moment? Because we would understand that when things like this happen, you would have communicable diseases, and you have also highlighted, which many have alluded to, the fact that these makeshift structures, if I would use that word instead of IDP camps, because you say you're not comfortable with IDP camps, do not have the required living standard. Hence, what we would expect would be outbreak of diseases. So what is the health and sanitary condition like at the moment? And now that the floods have receded, we know that during the floods, people must have come down with one form of illness or the other. And now the plan would be, after the flood, how are we checking these people before they mingle with other members of society? Has there been any approach, perhaps, from the health sector in any way in the government to look at, or are there any plans that you've heard that you have to address the health issues that may arise from the impact of the flood?
As a matter of fact, we are in a society where a lot of things are taken for granted. When situations like this occur, we expect the National Emergency Management Agency to provide guidance to state and local government authorities on how to go about some of these things. But unfortunately, NEMA never showed any presence up to this minute that I'm speaking. NEMA never showed any presence. And in the absence of NEMA come up with a robust presence, it will be difficult for the state authorities and the local government authorities to understand clearly what they are supposed to do in situations like this. Beyond the fumigation of the camps by the State Minister of Environment, nothing actually, came up throughout the stay of the displaced persons in the camps. We never had presence of any medical doctor, medical doctor from the public sector coming to help our people. The only doctors that came, was through our collaboration with the Nigerian police. The Nigerian police sent medical doctors to come and attend to our people in the camps.
So doctors from the NMA did not come? Because I know that I had conversations with some people from the NMA.
The doctors from NMA never visited the Opata Kingdom. If they feel they come to Opata, let them prove it. Because I never traveled out of home throughout the flood period. And I visited all the camps twice a day. So no health practitioner came to Opata Kingdom aside from the doctors from the Nigerian police. And now, these people have returned home. While in the camp, we recorded 257 cases of pneumonia, 303 malaria cases. In the course of checking the patients through tests, we discovered 44 HIV infections. There were 16 cholera cases, 77 purging and vomiting, and 106 high blood pressure patients. Now, the doctors
who carried out these tests? Who carried out these? Who carried out?
HIV patients have been sent for further treatment and assistance.
So, who carried out these tests to confirm that these people were down with these?
We expected that the communities where they are going to haven't been completely submerged by flood, ought to have been fumigated. But this was not done. And the people are exposed to more danger, more health dangers.
I was trying to confirm from you the figures you reeled out now with people who were down with, who had HIV, who had malaria, who had pneumonia, and the rest of them. Who carried out these tests to confirm that these people actually had these health issues?
We had doctors from the Nigerian police, medical doctors with their other professionals, the lab technicians and all that.
Okay, so they came often and on, or I thought perhaps they visited once in a while.
they were with us for
Oh.
4 days.
Okay. All right.
Then after their activities in Other Kingdom, those who have serious cases were given further treatment.
Mm. All right.
They are receiving further treatment, and there are some of them, the injured, those who were injured in the camp. Of course, we are taking care of those ones on our own.
Mm. All right, Your Highness. We have a short commercial coming up. We'll just attempt to wrap up before we let you go. At the moment now, you've highlighted a few things: food, health, the education sector. Although I've spoken with the Commissioner for Education, and he says plans are on, and perhaps would have him in the studio sometime soon to give us details about that plan, on the plans that the government might have on ground to tackle that problem. But we know that we had children who missed school because of the flooding. And in your own kingdom, where you are head, how have that been addressed? Has there been any presence?
Yeah, we lost almost more than a month of school hours. Our children were not in school, and presently all the schools have resumed, and the students are back to school. And of course we've the committee we set up to address the situation, the post-flood situation. I've been going around to meet with the principals and the head teachers to redouble their efforts to make sure they bridge the gap caused by the flood disaster. But the major complaint we've received so far are from some schools where certain infrastructure were destroyed as a result of the usage by the internally displaced persons, especially the Opatawan Community School, EDOPA, the Okoro Secondary School, the Lopata Primary Health Center, and the secondary school at the primary school at Ojabede, the state primary school at Ojabede. Most of the facilities at these areas were destroyed by the internally displaced persons, not intentionally, but as a result of the overcrowding and all that. And we have sent a position paper to the chairman of the Outer East Local Government to kindly see how he could rehabilitate some of these facilities to make learning more conducive for the children. And so the chairman of Outer East Local Government, Chief Benjamin Eke, is a very proactive public officer who has been on ground all this while to provide the needed support to us, and we have promised to look into this damaged infrastructure.
Okay, Your Highness. Thank you. We have to say thank you very much for making out time to be with us this morning. We'll definitely keep in touch for any new development.
Thank you.
All right, there you heard a traditional ruler for Okpata Kingdom, Felix Otuwarikbo, speaking on post-flooding, what really is on ground, the situation, and we're asking you on social media, you think the government at all levels have a post-flood reintegration plan for victims? We'll find out when we return. My name is Efemi Andrew. Stay tuned. At Nigeria Info PH, be a part of the conversation. You can watch, you can listen, you can drop your comments. And well, we're asking candidly, do you think, and be honest about it, do you think government at all levels have a post-flood reintegration plan for victims? Is there anything of such? Remember, infrastructure has been destroyed. I know that the East-West Road is one that they're working on, portions of it, some people even say. Infrastructure has been destroyed, health implications, education, curriculum affected for some people. I think about food security problems, the threat now in many areas where the flood, the footprints of the flood was left behind. Some people have problems with feeding now. A lot ongoing. Some people might have even lost their jobs. Is there a proper reintegration plan? Something like we had for COVID in the United States, where when the lockdown was over, and you see government having plans and trying to see how they can get people back on their feet and what government can do to support. Do we have such plan? Do you think we have such plan at all levels in this country? Well, let us know what your opinion is on that particular question at Nigeria Info PH on Facebook and on Twitter. On WhatsApp, the number is 0809 030 6416. Again, 0809 030 6416. I'll take that one more time. 0809 030 6416. You can call us up using the phone number 070 0923 0923. Again, 070 0923 0923. You listened to the traditional ruler of Akpata Kingdom, Felix Otuwarikpo, and the details that he gave and the data he put out and how detailed they were with regards to some of the difficulties or issues that the victims are facing at the moment. But one that really struck me, which is the one we're trying to focus more on today, is the health implication of this. Post-flooding, the health implications. What should be done? How should we go about addressing this so that communities might not go down with an epidemic? Some people might even be experiencing that and we don't know yet. But some of the things he said, you listened. We're going to get your opinion shortly. But let me get to my guest in the studio at the moment, who is a public health physician, is also a Rotarian, Dr. Bieye Briggs. You're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, listeners.
We do not have a lot of time on our hands, so let's see if we can do something for 10 minutes or less so that we can take contributions from our caller, our listener. I'm sure you heard some of the things that were said by the traditional ruler. What is your view as a public health practitioner? How should we be addressing this problem, especially that affects our health? He talked about people who had HIV, people who had came down with pneumonia, people who suffered malaria, and many other illnesses. How would we address this? And that's just for one kingdom,
yeah.
Community.
I really want to thank the traditional ruler because he reeled out very fascinating and intriguing statistics. You know, I didn't know that there is a community that is so well organized that they would go to the extent of keeping such records, you know. And this is to tell us how bad that the situation is really. And then if you look at it, it's just a kingdom, not the statistic does not represent the holistic.
Remember the
disaster we had.
The whole of the Arashi region has not been looked into. So part of it.
Recall when we came here some weeks back to talk about the flood, we mentioned some of the statistics he had reeled out, like malaria infections, acute watery diarrhea, pneumonia, and all that. So we're not surprised as public health physicians. This is what is expected. But then post-flood, there are certain things that needs to be health checks. Okay, there needs to be health audit of the people.
Should that happen before these people leave the camps and return back to the communities?
Yes, it should have been ongoing while they were still in the camp. But since you heard him say that no doctor,
yeah,
no health care was
for the ones from the police.
Okay, so and then
which kudos to the police for that.
Yes, we need to give police kudos. You know, when they do something good, we don't really talk much about it. We need to commend the police for that kind gesture, and that we look forward to them expanding such in future. So, but what we are saying is that you asked a question if there is a standard operational procedure for flood management. The answer is no, emphatically no, because
there is none at all for
these federal, state, or local government areas. There is no like that. In fact, there is no standard SOP for flood management generally. When I came the last time, I talked about prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. Okay, that is the phases of management of flood. So where you try to prevent, if you're in a community that is in a flood-prone areas, you try to prevent the flood. While preventing it, you also put in place mitigation. You have to be prepared. If your prevention fails, what are the things you need to do to reduce the impact of the flood on lives and livelihoods? Okay, then when it does happen, your response, so these are things that are one after the other. They are in quick succession. Okay, so after the response, you need to make people recover, help people recover, so that they can go back to as near as normal, to their near as normal lifestyle. Because when I say near normal, because they can't totally be normal, especially those who have lost lives, who have lost their lives, those family victims, family members that have lost loved ones and people they care about. They can never be normal.
Let me pause you, Doc. Let's listen to Ima from NTA. Hello, Ima. Good morning. Hello. All right, we lost that call from Ima. The number to call is 070-0923-0923. Again, 070-0923-0923. Put out the question. My guest already has said there is no standard procedure at federal, state, or local government level. That's his position. Is that yours? Do we have such? Now that the flood is gone, what's the plan and how do we go about it? So you're talking about prevention, recovery, and response and recovery.
So okay, the phase we are in that we're supposed to be doing now is to help people reintegrate back to society, to see how they can restart their lives, houses, build their businesses, to see how the health facilities in the communities can be re-established, so that they can go and do their health checks there. In terms of children, you want to do malaria tests to check if they're having any malarial infections, give them malaria prophylaxis medications. You need to give them medications such as oral rehydration solutions, zinc. You need to give them drugs to prevent worm infestation. And then for the women that are supposed to have been attending antenatal care for pregnant women, they need to start as soon as possible. For those children that have missed their immunization schools, according to the NPI, the National Program on Immunization, they need to start immunizing them again, because these are services that were not available at the time of the flood. And of course, we saw because where health facilities, healthcare centers were overrun by floods.
Okay. What happens?
So now that the people are beginning to return to their communities, those health services must be restored as quickly as possible so that people can have access. Of course, you also know that there are some diabetic patients, hypertensive patients. Of course, they need to go back to the hospital to get their BP checked, they need their fasting blood sugar checked, and their medications given. So these are things that should be happening as we speak.
But why are we not having this conversation? On the side of government, we've been commissioning projects, which is good, but we've not really had, whether from a commissioner of health, I'm sure we have one. We've not heard from some of the flood committee, no official statement. It's sad, but we seem to be in a situation where people who are in a position to give Rivers people information and fast track these processes seem like maybe they don't know what to do, or they're not asking a question, or they just don't want to speak about it. Is there perhaps a reason why you think the situation is the way it is? But before you reply, Okonkwo is calling from Romokuta. Okonkwo, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Yes. I hope it was a platform. Nigeria for about 3 weeks ago, that a group of persons, they came and said that they set emergency management agency, that they visited all the areas that were affected. But I was surprised by the debunking statement of the traditional rulers that up to now that there was no state management agency present. It was also in this platform that a group came and said there are sufficient food, sufficient water, everything in the ID camps at all the people at the areas that we have. And I was surprised that the traditional rulers said that they were frustrated and nothing was given to them. It was also in this platform that they said that there were no health challenges in any form. And it was from the transitional rule I heard that tests were conducted and there were many health challenges. So what is exactly how I'm confused. How are people deceiving people in this country? And you're asking what they will do in this post-flood challenge. They will not do anything, but they will use many platforms to come and lie to the society and to the citizens. It's unfortunate. Let the people that are affected continue to treat themselves as they will be able, as God sustains them. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Okonkwo. He says, well, his situation seems one that you would say is hopeless. Don't expect anything because he doesn't think anybody would look into this or anybody would do anything. But people pay taxes. It's disheartening, but this is what it is, that we don't have. You said we don't have any plans at all that's existing that that would need
a coordinated plan. That will be activated in the case of flood. That when flood comes, these are A, B, C, D things we are going to be doing. So once the protocol is activated, once there's a flood, so everybody who has a role to play in the course of
steps
responding knows what to do at what particular time, where, when, and how. Clearly defined in a standard operative procedure. That's not. But I need to make some corrections. That the last caller Okonkwo made. The traditional ruler, I listened to him very carefully. He never talked about SEMA. SEMA is State Emergency Management Agency, and there is no SEMA. There is no SEMA in River State.
Yes.
Maybe going forward, the state government may want to look into forming a State Emergency Management Agency. He said NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency. So that's what he says, and I need to make that correction. Okay, so people must take their destinies in their hands, but we are talking about an ideal situation, what should be done, and that's what we are saying. Because of the health facilities that were affected, before the people even leave their camps or the makeshift camps they resided in during the floods, these things would have, once the water begins to reach, these are the first things that needs to be put in place. The fixing of the healthcare centers, making sure there's potable water, there's good electricity supply, good environmental sanitation done, because they can't just move except a government authority certify that place to be safe for them to return. And before they return, these things would have been done so that they go back and then they begin to have.
You think what was seen on the East-West Road is because of maybe the economic importance? Because the East-West Road was damaged to a large extent. The same work is ongoing. In Bielsa State, the road leading to the State University was also destroyed. Then work is ongoing because people need to go to school. But then we haven't seen or heard about work ongoing for the health centers or the communities where houses were destroyed. What is being done? Health check for people who were in the IDP camps. What are the plans for food security because farms were destroyed? What are we doing? The Ministry for Agriculture, is there any plan? Who is working? Who is talking? We seem not to be hearing all of this. Would that have been the case of the East-West Road, perhaps, if it was not the East-West Road?
Maybe, that's why we said that we are saying that going forward, because I do not like dwelling on problems. I'm a solution-oriented person. So this is something that is going to be happening again. It's a natural disaster. Nobody can stop it, but we can reduce its impact on our lives and our economy. Okay, so what we are saying is that after now, government needs to organize a conference or a summit where experts, communities, civil society, media, and agencies of government, and even multinational organizations, the UNICEF, WHO, UN agencies are responsible for flood disasters and all that, and we come together and then brainstorm. At the end of the day, we come up solutions that are practicable, that can be done in our, we try to make it unique to our own environment, so that once there is a flood disaster, we have a standard that we're going to, a protocol that we're going to follow, so everybody knows what he or she is doing. The state, the federal, and the local governments, the community, CDC, traditional rulers, they all have roles to play. Okay, like for instance, if we had flood marshals, volunteer marshals, that in case of an emergency, these people have already been trained on what to do in terms of evacuation of people, setting up of the IDP camps, distribution of relief materials and all that. These are things that should be done. We want to see it being done going forward. But if we're talking about the response now, the recovery response, there's practically nothing on ground to show that there's any plan to help people recover from what they've been through in the last few months.
All right, we're already out of time. I wish we could discuss more, but unfortunately that cannot happen. I'll take a few messages from Facebook. This one from Mezi Manuel says, they failed woefully because the government of the day has a long time failed as well. If it were to be a political campaign, trust me that you would see that response team on ground. Well, if it had to do with campaigns in those, and campaigns would go to those areas where the flood is affected, I'm pretty sure. This one says, hold on just a minute. Okay, this one says, good morning, presenter. First, I thank Felix Otuwaekbo for men's concern, support, and love for the people. You see, the sector saddled with. Okay, go ahead. We don't have that time.